Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our parent workshop on managing emotions. My name is Nicole Full,
And I'm Melissa Van Vokel.
and we are the elementary behavior facilitators for Kaneland. We're super excited to spend this time with you and hope that you can walk away from this session having some more toolboxes to help when you see some of those bigger emotions that you're not quite sure how to manage. This is our contact information. Please never hesitate to reach out for anything, whether it be a resource, just ideas, anything that we can provide. We're always an email away for our families. Today, we're going to talk about how to help children calm down, how to manage problem behavior at home, and also the impact that providing positive attention can have on behaviors. Let's go ahead and begin our session today by building a common foundation. The video that we're about to watch really puts everything into one package very nicely and lays it out in quick, easy to understand chunks. And so we would like to watch this and then we'll have some takeaways. Make sure as you're watching, you're paying attention to information shared about how to help kids calm down, how to help kids better understand their emotions, and how to make it easier for kids to behave in the face of adversity. When you want to review this at a later time, all you have to do is click on the picture that's linked here and you'll be able to see the video again because every situation has its unique circumstances. So you may have a different takeaway when you watch it the second, third, or fourth time. Thank you for sticking with us through that video. I hope you found it as helpful as we do. Remember, you can always go back and look for those different tips and tricks, and hopefully some of them resonate with you. I know as a parent and educator, giving those two choices that you can live with either one really does help, and it definitely helps cut down on the negotiations, especially around bedtime. And also the providing special attention helps fill the buckets for the kids. So that way, when we do ask them to do those simple tasks, they have a little more emotional reserve for us, and it definitely fills our buckets too. So now we're going to look at the different components of behavior. There are three important factors to consider when thinking about behavior. And how we respond to the behavior will impact the future occurrence of the behavior too. When we're thinking about behavior, we need to look at what happens before or the antecedent of the behavior. Then we need to look at what the actual behavior is that we want to try and impact. And then it's important to look and see what happens after the behavior occurs. The first step in a good behavior management plan is to identify target behaviors. We need to make them clear and observable and measurable so there's no confusion as to whether the behavior happened. When we're thinking about behavior, this is the behaviors that we may not want to see as much, as well as the behaviors that we do want to see. And how we respond to these behaviors is going to determine whether that behavior is likely to pop up again, or whether we're going to be able to make that behavior go away. Talking a little bit more about the before, the antecedents of the behavior, there are some pieces that you want to make sure you avoid and some that you want to make sure you use. Clarity is always helpful around behaviors. We can't assume that kids know what to do. We need to make sure that we're clear and give as concrete directions as possible. That way, there's no mistaking that children know what the expectation is, and we may need to give that instruction multiple times in multiple ways. We also want to make sure that we are maybe using things like counting down, providing choice, making sure the environment isn't too noisy or overwhelming. And if we can control the environment or how we're talking to kids, how they're getting the message and our clarity, then we're actually preventing some of those behaviors we don't want to see because we have the most control over ourselves and our environment rather than our children. Consequences is what happens right after the behavior. So here are some tips. We want to make sure that we're being consistent. So if however we react to the behaviors we want to see, we don't want to have big reactions one time and little reactions the next time. We want kids to know if I engage in this behavior, this is what's going to happen. If they know that they're going to be able to get a special rewards such as extra time, an extra story at nighttime, if they're able to get in their PJs super quick. You don't want to do it one day and not do it the other day. It needs to be something that you're going to be able to deliver in a consistent way so that kids can maintain that pattern of behavior that we want them to see. We also need kids to understand what is expected of them and what is unexpected of them. And so if we're seeing those expected behaviors or behaviors we want to see, they can anticipate that good things or good consequences will happen that they like. But if we see some of those unexpected behaviors that we don't want to see, they may need to come to realize that the consequences that they may not prefer might happen. Some things you definitely want to avoid is providing attention in a way that may be feeding the behavior accidentally. If this child, say you have a very busy household and you're giving lots of attention to the one who may be tantruming on the floor, that kid, if they're looking for your attention, they may realize tantruming is a real quick, efficient way to get a little extra attention. It may seem like it's negative to you, but it may be meeting their needs of that additional attention. You also want to make sure your consequences happen as quickly as possible after the behavior, so there's nothing else that gets in the way that might be giving them mixed messages about when I engage in this behavior, this happens. You also want to kind of keep that calm, neutral presence about you when dealing with behavior so that things don't get blown out of proportion and reactions match whatever is happening in terms of the magnitude of the behavior. Again, that positive consequence, something may seem negative to us in our adult brains, but it may be something that's actually meeting our kiddos' needs because all behavior is communication. So if they're telling you, hey, look at me by crying or demanding something, and we give in, then that's giving them a pattern of behavior of, ooh, if I keep doing this, then I get the things that I really need. Some things you might want to try is rule setting, active ignoring, like was mentioned in the video. If you know that you typically give lots of attention to tantruming or refusing to go to bed, maybe next time you're going to restate your expectation and then you're going to walk away and give some space. As soon as you see them doing what you want them to do, that's when you can give the attention. There's also a link down at the bottom of strategies to try. There's a little more information about timeouts, how to use them, and what that means. I would welcome you to take a look at that. I know timeouts sometimes can get a negative connotation around them, but this is a great guide to give you information about how to use them effectively. Another option that may be nice and easy to implement are reward menus, so kids can have more choice in what they're working on, and you don't have to rack your brain as far as, oh boy, they did something great again. What do I need to do? But now you have a systematic way for them to choose something that they can buy into. And again, we can get those behaviors happening that we want to see on a consistent basis. We talked a little bit about positive attention in the video and what it looks like and why it works. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of kiddos having an emotional piggy bank. We all do. But the more we can build up their emotional reserves by providing that attention that's positive, they don't have to do anything to earn it. They just get to have that special connected time. The more likely they're going to engage in those non-preferred activities like picking up your shoes or putting your backpack away or getting your homework done without those big emotional reactions. When kids have to have any redirection, no matter how big or small, it takes a little bit away from that emotional piggy bank. And so what may seem like a real simple task to us might be just enough to push them over the edge. And then we end up seeing really big emotions it's hard to come back from. Here's some additional resources for you. The video you watched in the beginning of this PD was from the Child Mind Institute. I've linked in articles here that you can dig into. They're very quick and short and easy to read and absorb. There's more information about the positive communication piece we talked about. And there's actually a great infographic in the positive communication article, and it has some ideas for instead of saying things with a negative tone, such as don't interrupt, they give you some specific language to increase those positives. So, for example, rather than saying don't interrupt, they suggest saying remember how to get my attention, or instead of saying stop crying, is there some way I can help? Or don't say that. You could reframe it as saying choose kind words. Again, it's how do we get kids to be able to have the language and the tools that they may not have yet, and how do we build that positive communication so that they're more available to us. The very last tool that's linked in here, the interactive calming toolbox, has lots of calming videos, calming music, all sorts of multi-sensory breaks. And I would encourage you to review it and explore it with your own children at home, and maybe even have them pick 1 or 2 or 3 strategies that could be go-to strategies that they feel are the perfect fit for them. And that way you can practice them. I'd recommend practicing them before those big emotions come so they're more used to the strategy, and then they're more likely to use it and help them calm down so that they can move on with their day. Thank you so much for your time and participation. Please take a few minutes to click on the link to the left. You will have an opportunity to earn a a chance for a raffle ticket. And there are lots and lots of baskets. We can't wait to give families. There are board game nights, there's book nights, there's calming tools, baskets filled with all sorts of goodies your entire family can enjoy. And there's also a place there for you to share any questions you may have, any needs you may need to have as far as resources. And we will follow up with all of that information. So please don't hesitate if there's anything we can do to help support you and your family. And please take advantage of the raffle opportunity as well. Thank you so much for your time. Make sure to check out our other 3 videos that are also posted for Parent PD.
Thank you.